my YouTube family. Today I'm going to throw some light on the topic how to improve English vocabulary. I know this is one of the most asked questions and you might be struggling to improve your English vocabulary words. But don't worry, here I am. I would love to tell you how do I add new vocabularies to my English dictionary. So before we begin, let me confess that even I'm not very good at remembering new vocabulary words. I am a perpetual learner, I am innovative, I am creative, but unfortunately my mind does not support me to restore a lot of data. If you could relate to that, I would like you to just give a glance to this image here on the screen. Can you relate to it? I know it happens with all of us. We learn a lot of new vocabulary words. We could somehow use them in writing, but when it comes to speaking, we all go blank as if these vocabularies never existed. We have never ever learned any new word. We just go blank. But it's okay. It happens with everyone. I'm telling you, I hold an experience of training so many people, and I know they have learned a lot of words. So before they enroll for the course, they give it a try by their own. They try to learn words from newspaper, from all the different resources they could approach to, but eventually they end up saying, I cannot speak fluent English. Neither I can use any good vocabulary word when I speak. So you are no different. It happens with everyone. So take a chill pill. Now I'll tell you what do I do, okay? So see, I have to play a little smart here. I rely on selective memory because my mind does not support me to restore or to recollect a lot of information. I play a little differently here. What I do, I make different sections for different vocabulary words. So in my way, from my perspective, I look at vocabulary in two ways. One which I will be using more frequently, and another one which, okay, if I know its meaning, it will become easy for me to read more articles and figure out their meaning. Like for an example, let's say there are two words, obnoxious and ostracize. Obnoxious means something that displeases you, that is very unpleasant to you, or maybe something that happened that was obnoxious, or maybe someone who offended you. You can describe these people saying, it was obnoxious. On the other hand, there is a word ostracize. Ostracize means to exclude from a society or a group. Now, you tell me which word is more important. This word, I will only bump into reading articles, but another word, the first word, obnoxious, I will be able to use it more frequently. Though I am a perpetual reader, I read a lot, but you have to be very selective on what kind of words you need to put in your passive memory. You need not to be very active about those words. And your active memory means these words you need to learn in a different fashion, in a different manner, so you could use them more frequently. You can also call these words as your pet words. It's a beautiful expression, isn't it? Pet words. Pet words means you need these words more frequently. So tip number one is you need not to learn every another vocabulary word you bump into. Be very selective on what to learn actively and what to learn passively. Because learning everything is like putting burden to your brain unnecessarily. You need not to overburden your brain with a lot of new vocabulary words. And eventually, if you're not able to use them, what is the use of spending hours learning difficult words? So let's make it easy. Let's make two kinds of list. One, okay, you must know the meaning, but it's okay if you're not able to use it actively. But the another word you learn, you need to learn it in a different manner. What that different manner is, you can learn that word in different ways. Like first one, you can learn that word in combination with other words. So it becomes easy for you to remember that, to retain that. Like the word obnoxious, you can learn it in the combination of other words like obnoxious teenager, obnoxious behavior, obnoxious habit, like any habit that offends others, or obnoxious teenager, someone who is very displeasing, people do not like to be around him. So now this way I just try to make it easy for me to learn the word obnoxious, and I will be able to use it actively because I actually know how to use it in a sentence. Tip number 3, when you learn a new word, you attach a memory to that, you link a memory to that, because when you do that, it becomes 100 times easier for you to save that word in your active mind. You can actively relate it to a real life situation. So obnoxious, in order to learn this word, I'll rather think of a situation, or I'll rather think of a person who offended me, or a person who I found to be very rude. Like maybe I met with an accident, a minor accident, and the car owner, the another person who was driving the car, I didn't like him at all because he was putting all the blame on me. Now I'll use that incident to remember this word obnoxious. So when I relate it with a real time memory, it's gonna be easy for me to remember this word. So these are the small techniques you can use to learn a word. Now you must be thinking that why do I need to take a lot of pain to just learn a simple word? Darling, if you don't do that, you're gonna forget it. Your mind means you're already your mind is already preoccupied with a lot of thoughts. You have worries about your workplace, about your family, your personal responsibilities, or your studies. So if you do not create these memories, if you do not learn a word in the combination of other words, you're gonna forget that. You have to admit this. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll keep learning everything and eventually you'll not be able to use anything. So it's better that you work on selective memory. You learn exactly what you will be able to use. Otherwise, let the word go. Let it go. It's okay. If you do not know its meaning, that's absolutely okay. Or you could just give it a quick check that what does that word mean. So when you read an article and you come across the same word again, you run into the same word again, you are able to figure out its meaning. That's all. So if you exercise vocabulary in this manner, it's going to make reading much easier for you. No matter whatever you read, you will be able to understand it because you know a lot of words. But if your motive is to speak fluent English first, do not learn a lot of words. Take a chill pill. Make it easy for you. Learn the words which you will be able to use excitingly. You will be able to use while writing, while speaking, and leave an impression on others. This is a simple technique which I use, and I just thought of passing it on to you because I know you listen to me, and my humble suggestions could make a huge difference to the way you learn English. Even on this note, I would like to debunk the belief that to speak fluent English you need to read a lot. See, that is okay, that is essential. But if you are reading a novel, you need to decide your priorities first. You need to pre-decide whether you are reading this novel to grasp some learnings out of it, or your motive is to fortify your vocabulary. If you want to improve your vocabulary words, then limit yourself to 1 or 2 pages, because if you keep going on reading and reading and reading and you are just making your notes, you're writing vocabulary words, you're just doing it for namesake. Even after writing their meaning, you're not sure how to use those words in actual life, in actual conversation. So what is the use of learning those words in this manner? Rather, what you could do, you could limit yourself to 1 or 2 pages, write down 2 to 3 or 5 words, do a good research on those words, write some good sentences around that. You can always use this website called Word in a Sentence. So if the word is obnoxious, you could write obnoxious in a sentence. This website teaches you how you could use a particular word at different situations in different roles. and you are actually preparing a real life vocabulary. You're learning that vocabulary word from its root, so you could actually use it. On the other hand, if your motive is to derive learnings out of something, like let's say if I recommend you to read the book The Power of a Subconscious Brain, in that manner you need not to be worried about the vocabulary used there. You just need to use your instincts to understand what is communicated, what the writer is trying to tell you, and you grasp that knowledge, because that will be used to refunction, to reprogram your brain. There you are training your brain, you are changing its perspective towards life, towards a particular thing. So there the motive should not be to improve English. The motive should be to just learn and grow and improve. But if your motive is to improve spoken English, do not read much. Read 2 pages, write 5 vocabulary words, do a good research on it, and you make your notes. I promise you're going to nail it. Well, here is a disclaimer. If you do not listen to me, trust me, you'll always be disappointed. You'll be like, I learned a lot of new vocabulary words. It's ludicrous. I'm not able to use these vocabulary words. But even if you're sulking, you're cursing, not going to help, darling. You have to change the way, your approach to learn. So next time you learn less, but you learn it 100%. I wish you all the best. I love you, and I believe that you can master this language as I did. It's just a language. Don't worry, you can do it. All the best.